Welcome, family and friends, to the beginning of the Season 8 brackets. This will be 16 of the worst comic book movies of all time. That's right, we're doing a bottom 16 worst comic book movie of this century. Now, before we get started, there will be 16 movies to choose from. We will be, throughout the course of these rounds, voting for the worst. So make sure you remember that, the worst. The 16 movies were selected by myself and the Poprika Small Council. We thought about opening it up, but really there was just so many that I feel like we got a really good, concise list going on. The 16 worst movies of this year. Of this century. Now, the basic ground rules for this will be voting will run from Friday to Friday. I'm going to try really hard, guys. I think this is going up on Sunday, so I'm starting off having messed up, but we'll see. Voting will run for about a week from Friday to Friday. The movies featured must be from post 2000. That's post Bryan Singer's X-Men, because it really wouldn't be fair to compare about any modern comic book movie, even the worst one, to Roger Corman's Fantastic Four, which is actually pretty decent, or Superman 4 or anything like that. Really post X-Men, modern comic book movies from when they were expected to be good and were generally expected to be the biggest movie of the year, right? So, if indicated, whole franchises can be considered. For instance, we are going to have the Fantastic Four series, Part 1 and Part 2, together as a single entry. It will really, I think, kind of make it a stronger entry. We get to consider the whole franchise. Now, in some instances where the whole franchise wasn't bad, then we might only consider one movie, and if it's a reboot, we will definitely consider it as a separate entry. For instance, F4 and Fantastic Four will be separate entries. So without any further ado, we have here the Cup of Fate, and from it, we're going to randomly choose our names. For spot number 1 of 16 is Frank Miller's The Spirit. Let me jot that down really quick. Ooh, what a stinker that one was. The Spirit. Spot number 2. We have Punisher Warzone. These might be coming around backwards to you, but bear with me. Punisher Warzone. Spot number 3 is, ironically, Spider-Man 3. Let's get that. Spider-Man 3. Forgive the backwardness if it's backwards when we... hold on a second. Spider-Man 3. Forgive the backwardness. I didn't think to write these backwards for you. Next, for the spot number 4 is the Fantastic Four franchise, parts 1 and 2. For spot number 5, whoa, early on, F4. That means we might see a Fantastic Four and F4 against each other in the second round. Can't wait for that, right? Spot number 6, Jonah Hex. Oof. Worst thing Josh Brolin ever did, I tell you. Spot number 7. Ooh. Elektra. Spot number 8. Ghost Rider, the entire franchise from Nicolas Cage. Spot number 9. Give us a little shake. Fate. X3, The Last Stand. Spot number 10. Ooh. Green Lantern. I'm going to have so much fun ripping these movies in half on the brackets, I'm telling you. A lot of fun this season, I think. Spot number 11. Ooh, this year's, 2016's big stinker, Suicide Squad. Number 12. "300 Rise of an Empire." Now, that one's interesting because I do not think that one's actually based on any of Frank Miller's work, like the first 300 was, so it's not an actual comic book adaptation, but it does contain comic book characters, and it is a clear sequel to an obvious comic book movie, so we're going to go and let that one slide. But this does not include 300, okay? 300 I don't think should make it onto this list. Continuing, spot number 13. Ooh. My early pick for winner this year, Catwoman. Movie that ruined Halle Berry's career. Next will be another contender, I tell you, Daredevil, or as I like to call it, the sad flick origin story. Spot number 15. X-Men Origins Wolverine, very fitting since the first episode of Season 8 of the Poprika podcast will feature a review of Logan. And the last spot number 16. Ooh, shouldn't surprise anybody, this one made the list. Ang Lee's Hulk. So there you have it. Allow me to have now I'm going to put this on a proper poster board in due time. For right now, I think this sheet of paper will work just fine. Let's try to get that whole thing in there. That is this year's bracket. I will also post this exact same bracket on the thread that I opened this video on, so that everybody can have their own copy and follow along at home if you wish. All right, guys. We'll see you early next week for the first episode of Season 8 of the Poprika podcast. I will be hosting with my good friend Ryan Santa Anna, co-hosting with me, and we are going to review Logan. Peace.